Good morning, everyone. Gina's here. This is Unity Through Diversity, and this is our actually special edition where we invite readers from all over the world and then come in to tap into collective energy and give us a reading, but it's more of a guidance and more of a perspective. Hope those tips, suggestion, advice, or the things we see can guide you in your life and make your life a little bit easier. So today we have beautiful soul Joan from Ireland, right? Oh my goodness,
Yes,
we are so welcome you here first. How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
Nice. Yes. So it's today is a Thursday, right? I just always
Yes.
feel today is Friday for whatever reason. Maybe I'm ready for the weekend. But yeah, like what is time anyway, right? So tell us a little bit about, your work. I see you've been doing this for over 15 years and tell us a little
Yeah.
bit of like how did you get into um what you are doing and tell us a little bit like background story. I think it's always
Okay.
great.
Yeah. So I'm Joan Buckley, living in Ireland, always born here. So I carry the magic of the Irish land in me. There's a lot of magic in the land here. So I've always grown up with that magic, but I grew up in more a traditional environment, very much
Hmm.
religious environment. And I went the corporate route. I worked in corporate for a long time in software. And then I had my first child in my early 30s, and everything started changing from there. I started feeling the impulse of wanting to serve the world in some way. I just didn't feel I was making a difference. And I couldn't understand where this was coming from because if anyone looked at my life, it was quite successful. I was happily
Hmm.
married with kids, a good job, plenty finances. So but this kept nudging me. And when my second son was born, which was 2 years later, there was the offering of a redundancy where I worked. So I took the
Hmm.
redundancy so I could stay at home for a while with my children. And I just started doing various courses and stuff, more to have a break from mothering
Yeah.
when I needed a break from kids and stuff. And it just ballooned from there. Now, in hindsight, I was obviously guided to the exact
Hmm.
courses I needed. I started with Reiki, I did angel healing,
Yeah.
I started meditating, all these regular spiritual practices that I didn't have up to then. And it
Hmm.
just ballooned from there. It really opened up parts of my gifts that I didn't even know I had. And I found I have three children, and I found with each child they brought in a different energy. The first one
Mm.
kind of opened up my energy. He brought enough energy with him to make me curious, to make me want to look for something new. And the
Yeah.
second one came in, and the angels turned up with him, and a lot of other
Mhm.
light beings.
Yeah.
And then my third one came. There was a gap, and my third one came 6 years later, and he came in with all the star energy. And I had never heard of star seed or star energies until then. But he brought them in, and it's like each one of them brought the energies. And I think that's what the children of the world are doing. They're bringing the seeds with them, and they're
Yes.
relying on those around them to pick up the seeds. And I did pick it up. I mean, it was a long journey to picking it up because I had so much unraveling to do of my belief systems, of how I was living, and just these gifts which people around me weren't that open to.
Yeah.
Reading energy, doing Reiki, doing angel healing. I often send my healing via distance, which to this day people find a little bit challenging to accept the healing that way rather than in person. So
Hmm.
it kind of ballooned from there, and I did courses, as in gave courses in Cork, and I did some healing sessions. And then when lockdown happened in 2020, it accelerated at a speed that I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
because I had been doing it for so long, but suddenly we were all online, and
Yes.
that time in 2020, which was very challenging for the world, but from someone reading energy, it brought such a surge of light onto the planet. It brought so, so much light. And that March, when lockdowns were starting, there was a group of us came together, a global group of six of us, and
Hmm.
we started meeting every week. And these were healers. We had all sorts of gifts, but when you put them together, there was something spectacular in them. And
Yeah.
we have met every week since then. Now, if someone had told me that I would keep something going for 5 years on a weekly basis when we're all busy, I probably wouldn't have believed them back then. But it has been absolutely amazing. And in that it has expanded and expanded, expanded our own gifts simply for working together and each of us sharing our own light. So that's how I came
Yeah.
to it. Now I do all sorts, angel, star energy,
Mm-hmm.
dragons, unicorns,
Oh, we're gonna talk.
anyone
Yay.
anyone who comes in is welcome,
Okay, yeah. Awesome, awesome. So thanks for sharing that. I mean, it's beautiful, the story, like a different child bring different, right? I have two girls.
Mm,
And similar, not similar. Actually, we are very different. Like I had a very hard childhood because I'm not born and raised in the United States, right? I came to this country 15
mm,
years ago. I came here actually 15 years ago. I had my first child in my 30, like not in my early 30s, 30 on the mark. Okay. So I think I was literally when you're looking back, I was like, wow, how that year, because that year is so important. If you really look into your charts, everything happened like exactly that's the timing. So she actually kicked in to just like, well, mom, this is your time. You need to go to open your second chapter or the early chapter that you don't even know you have that. It was something hard but very beautiful later. And then my second child come in is more a sweetheart, like she's literally angel. I was tapping into her energy. It's like this is more angel. First one, she's more of like kicker start. It's like when I say kick on my screen, even so I know that's energies right here. They are very excited too, Esther, because I do channel as well. But when you're talking about like, even pandemic, I'm the ones that like late, like literally 2020 is activated everything about me because that's a lot.
mm,
You see so many clients, you realize there are group in 2020 is the one they started awakening, understand they have, like 2020, like Reiki, angel healing, whatever. That's my wave that started. But like just meditation. When I was probably in the middle school, my dad already do meditation. I just didn't connect the Chinese language with English language. They had the same thing. And
mm,
when was I did that? It was with my father. In middle school, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a seed that you are planted when
mm,
you were young. It's really incredible. So yeah, really thank you. And for the meetings you're talking about, like, when people coming together, 5 years still meeting every week, you guys are incredible. I mean, that's definitely well, you guys already know, like certain, so contract or agreement or,
yes, very much so.
so pods, however you're going to call it,
Mm,
because we used to work alone, many, because the human, a lot of, history wise, but now this is time people coming together. Otherwise,
mm,
we're not going to have this conversation here, right? Because
mm,
we all, even years ago, we are still doing our own thing because we try to figure out ourselves. Later, you realize that we are part of something bigger than us. So
mm,
those conversations are much easier now, and everybody is just
mm.
online. They're just online, right? So online. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. The next question I want to kind of like, share with us a little bit of how you work with different energy, like how your channel open. Do you, everybody connect energies in a different way, right? Some people meditate a little bit, some people say a prayer, some people their channel is always open. What is how you attune that energy as well? Because I realize sometimes, depends on your vessel. My understanding is depend on vessel because I was actually in a pause for a couple of weeks because I was not understanding what's the pause meaning, but I just know that's a pause. Until yesterday, I tapped into Akashic Field, which is this video still I'm gonna make, but they showed me something. I was like, okay, now I understand. But what are those things about you, like your experience, how you see this?
Mm. I suppose I started with angels.
Yes.
That was my first inlet to it all.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was confident with them, and once I could kind of, meditate, just I suppose I don't even need to go deep into meditation anymore. Once I get
Mm,
quiet, I can start
yeah.
to. I say I hear them, but I more feel them. It's like I feel the pictures. It's very, very difficult to describe because I don't hear words like
Mm,
some people hear words or they see the pictures. I
yeah.
feel the pictures. That's the way it shows to me. So when I started with the angels, they would be nudging me and I would, I get signs, I get the feathers and
Mm-hmm.
the coins and the numbers.
Yes.
Those ones at the start especially were very comforting to me until I could get my own guidance very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found once I was comfortable with one group, that the next group would come in. And
Yeah.
after the angels, it was the unicorns came in next. And they have such a high frequency energy. And it was
Yeah.
really beautiful. And they don't tend to give me guidance in the same way as the angels do. They tend to just sprinkle light into whatever situation it is and then
Mm.
see how it unfolds. And then
Yeah.
after that, the dragons came in. And
Yes.
the dragons come in and they have such a clearing energy. They're continuously clearing the space. So I always find they come in when I'm working with someone, when I'm healing and I'm trying to do clearing. So I find all the groups come in for different purposes. And
Yeah.
then the star energies came in next. Now I find I often in my mind head out to the planetary bodies to meet the star
Mm.
beings. So while I would always meet the angels here, and I can meet the star beings here as well, but I love to go visit them just to drift out to the cosmos in my mind,
Because
in
fun,
my
right?
imagination. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can really feel them and I can feel the different ones, the different planets, how they feel different. I don't have names for most of the places.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
home planet I have no name for. I just know colors of it. Um
Yes.
but
Frequency. Yeah.
so it depends what I'm doing as to who I'm working with. But I always have a knowingness and a feeling. I really am a feeling person. That's my
Yeah.
primary way of
Yes.
translating energies. But the feelings often come as a picture.
Mm. It's interesting
And
because I'm clear sentence, I'm feeling it, but they usually poke my body. Like they will, when I'm in session, like, we're talking right now, I'm feeling the heart center. So, but they don't really do it until, because it's consent, right? Like, let's say if we're just
yes,
normal talking, they don't do it. They know Gina is not open for business. But once I start talking, even with friends, talking about certain serious thing, and we start talking, which means they give me the consent, and my body, they start poking me, like this corner, that corner, because that's how I interpret. So I will start from there first, then I will see things, then other things come in. But that clear sentence is always my first, like, strongest.
mm,
So, like I'm feeling it, like I will feel hurt. If people are pain in their body, they might don't feel that pain. I will feel 10 times, 100 times more, because it's for me
mm,
to deliver the message, I need to know which part. So it's kind of like, everybody's unique, but I never know. It's just like feeling as a picture, like, I'm trying to kind of like what that feels like to
yeah,
feeling the
yeah.
picture.
It's very, very hard. I'm often trying to describe it because for example, like you mentioned, when if I was working with someone and I was feeling parts of their body needed help, it's almost like I could, in my mind, see that body part, and that's how.
Mm,
Even though I'm feeling it, I'm not visually seeing it. It's like I'm
yeah.
feeling that part of their body, and they're showing me the part of the body. So I always say I see by feeling. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
almost like a scanning, like you have the combination
Yeah,
of the, clairvoyance with the clairsentience at the same time, because,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
very, very, because I'm purely feeling it first and not
yeah,
describing. Then you are like
yeah.
you're seeing and feeling it. It's actually
Yeah. Yeah,
really
I think I have the
cool.
feeling and the cognizance, the
Yeah.
claircognizance. It's the knowingness. It's
Mm,
almost like the feeling translates into the
yes.
knowingness. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So next one, before we tap into collective, I don't know what's energy going to come in, because, like our world, things are changing so fast every day, like yesterday
Mhm.
energy, today's energy so different. That's why I try to also get out those podcasts sooner as well, because, I don't want people to wait. So next one is, okay, question. This is a general question. And I mean, people brought up dragon a couple times. I'm like big about dragon, like that's something with me, very, very special. So the question is, like, is everybody have a dragon with them, just like everybody have a guides,
If they choose,
if they choose? Okay,
if they choose,
all right,
yes. I think I think we can have whichever team we want around us, and I think our
okay,
team varies.
yes,
I mean, I've always had angels with me, and maybe I
mm,
always had dragons, and I just didn't recognize them.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I think teams come and go. For example, if I'm stepping into something big, I'll often find the unicorns coming in
mm,
because they have a high frequency soul energy, and they
yeah,
also have such a purpose for ensuring people with big collective roles have the
mm-hmm,
support they need to step forward.
yeah,
Whereas I always find the dragons come in when I need protection. They
mm,
really have, for me, and I know they're absolutely amazing healers as well. But for
yeah,
me, they're part of my protection team. I always feel them
yeah,
around when I'm working to protect my energy, even when I'm out and about, because I carry a very high frequency. So going to the supermarket, I
mm-hmm,
need to ensure my energy is steady and that I'm keeping it
yeah,
nicely protected at all times.
exactly, yeah, totally makes sense. Everybody
Mm.
doing protection differently. Dragons more, for me, they're more playful. Like,
Mm.
I protect it usually. Archangel Michael is the main one that I always, like, it really depends on like when you start your journey, whichever way you
Mm.
already use that, and it's always that dragons. Like it's different time. It's sometimes the like a rain one, the not rain, so water dragons, things like or the weather. Especially we are living close to water. We're close to the lake, so it's actually a lot of time people say, oh yeah, you guys are gonna have big storm or whatever thing. I usually protect my house. Just the detour the energy go different way. Then that was the moment I was okay, all right, I will need you guys. But otherwise, they're I think they are around, but they don't really come forward. And unless just like,
Mm.
if people bring up a dragon or something, I was, oh, who's around me right now? So it's kind of fun that you check in, but otherwise they just to be there, right? Just like my little cat,
Yeah,
just little
yeah.
kitty there. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's dive into the collective ones. Do you need to prepare or you already like ready
No,
to go?
I'm already prepared for
Okay,
it. Come
cool.
on. Yeah.
So let's. I always like to ask the first question is what is going on right now in the world? Like if you could just let us know who's speaking right now, it will. I think people probably will can. It's because when your words is frequency, they probably can tap into the frequency of whichever being, light being, or star
Mm.
being, or angel, or unicorn, or whoever dragon or guides. So in this way, people probably can tune into that frequency a little bit.
Yeah. I tend to speak through my higher self. I tend to
Okay.
speak through my higher self. So they all just kind of combine the energy, and it's
Makes
my
sense.
higher
Yeah.
self speaks it through.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the energies this year, I found in January, just to put a small bit of context into it, I found in January that there was a huge surge on the new year, an absolute huge surge.
Hmm.
And we have been adjusting to that sense, and the collective has been adjusting to that. And so much light comes in, everything that's not in alignment with that light has to come up for healing. And
Yeah.
it looks fairly crazy out there in the world, but everything needs to be seen to be healed, just as
Hmm.
our own personal journeys. When we're healing, if we don't know we need healing, we rarely go looking for it. But
Hmm.
if we have an ache, if we have a pain, if we're feeling depressed, then we go looking for solutions. And I think that's what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
the it's all bubbling up so that the solutions can be found. But previous to this, all the light beings, all the healers across the world, and many of them listening here, they were all placed in the perfect and right country, in the perfect and
Mhm.
right town, in the perfect and right village or rural location. So what we had across the world was um, it was like dots of light all
Mhm.
the ways across the world, and this has been building for decades. Decades and decades, we have been building this grid of light workers, and everyone was coming online in the perfect time. People came back in the 60s and the 70s, and since then, huge numbers came online in the last 3 or 4 years. So the grid of light is ready, and ye
Mhm.
are the grid of light. We are the grid of light. It's us that is building it. We're not being saved by all the support we have. And we have so much support, but they're not the ones saving us. We're
Mhm.
the grid of light here on the planet building this. And because we're all placed, and because the light is starting to shine so bright, Mother Earth and all the layers and levels of the earth, the inner earth realms, are shining so bright. The elementals, the animals, all carrying this light. It's shining so bright now that it is radiating through everything. So everything that's hidden is has the light radiating through it now.
Mhm.
And it will all be healed. It will. It just looks challenging right now. But the speed this year is faster than ever before.
Yeah.
So just as the light increases, the solutions and the speed of the solutions will increase too. More light beings, more support is here than ever before, especially the galactic teams. The light beings from all the other planets in your solar system are here because you have a part to play in the solar system. And as you raise up, the solar system rises up, which in turn rises up the universe and the galaxy. So
Mhm.
this is not just a human experiment. This is a great cosmic experiment that's unfolding right now. So you have the support of the cosmos behind you. So all will unfold to a place of peace, to new earth is birthing as we speak, and all will come into a place in harmony and balance. But this is the birthing phase. And as anyone who has birthed a child, it's it's intense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all worth it when that child is in your arm.
Yeah. Okay, now when you talk about child, actually you answered the question that in my mind without I'm speaking. So we were talking about Earth. Then that actually the next one is actually I want to talk a little bit Earth, because Earth, we always think we are the most important because we are human, right? We're living on the planet. And when you zoom out, is actually Earth itself is on its own, just like a human. We have like 30 years old, we married, have kids. Where is, or like what is Earth's growth path, like path? Because if we understand it, like, okay, Earth, they say is 30 years old, right? I mean, just for example, like, okay, this is time that Earth is like, you know what, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna, because when we talk about the planet, Earth itself is just like in a big family, right? Like, so if we tap into Earth itself energy, like what she try to, like, where she's going or where she's coming from, like, in this way, does that make sense? That question is like, because
Yes.
we know Earth's energy is different, like what is she trying to do, and what is her role in the solar system, in this universe? Why Earth is so important? Why? Because I know it's important. That's why all the beings is here, right? But I want, from your perspective, like what the message comes through, like, as we speak, for Earth itself.
Earth's role is to reclaim, Earth's current role is to reclaim her place.
Mm,
When when humanity decided to fall into a lack of remembering, and we chose this, we decided that let's forget everything and see how can we find our way back to the light. So
mm,
we forgot everything, but to do that, we needed a planet who was going to do it with us,
yeah,
because otherwise we didn't have the physical space to do it. So
yeah.
Earth gave us that space, and she has suffered the effects of that experiment that we have been living out, that experience of where we forgot and we're returning back to the light. So she too has decided that she is ready for her own light to be in full volume again. So she is moving, and the scientists have said this, that she is moving she's moving in the solar system to a new place. She's moving through the photon belt. So energetically, she is changing anyway, simply by that
Mm-hmm.
move. But she is claiming her rightful place in the solar system. So just like we are reconnecting to the magnificence that we are, that we're connecting to our soul light, our higher self, our galactic self, and all our grand, grand soul being that we are, she too is reconnecting to the entirety of the universe, is what it feels
Mm-hmm.
like to me. So she is moving and into where she shines the brightest, and we'll shine with her. But I feel that she went first. Her
Mm-hmm.
light started rising because she was struggling. And as her light started rising, it started pinging those of us who were getting ready to wake up, and helped us wake up. And then as we wake up and we shine light, we're helping her. She shines more light and she helps more people wake up. So it's a beautiful relationship between us. We're waking up each other and elevating each other. But she's also so deeply connected in the solar system that she's radiating her light out into the solar system, and the solar system is radiating back to her.
Mm-hmm.
So they too are moving. So every move, they say that if a wing flaps its butterfly, it affects everything.
Yes.
It feels like that the earth and the solar system are just moving along, and everything is adjusting together.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting is I probably 2 years ago I made a video. Because I channeled that messages through, and at that time I thought it's crazy too, because nobody was talking about that. And then I don't even remember the messages, because when you channel through, you just make a video, it just automate system, because it's not supposed to, the human gene not need to carry those information all the time. So a lot of time, if I don't do something with the message, it's just gone. But that was the moment, the aha moment, and now I kind of remembering is like, as much as we are remembering, Earth is in the mission with us.
Mhm.
So we are working with each other. And like, to be honest, I feel like, it's funny thing is, the whole universe, or whatever, however, when we created this Earth, they didn't know we could make it this far.
Mhm.
Actually at 2012, I don't know about, people talking about 2012, like, actually Earth probably at a certain point that we already, probably in another timeline, we already gone, we already done. But You know, we are keep pushing, moving forward. So at this point is somehow is we need extra help and support, because we literally make any step is out of the plan, that like the plan was not, didn't include this part. I feel like we already outgrow what we plan for. So then now you don't have a 5 years plan right now. Like they actually don't have a 5 years plan. You don't have 3 years plan. You just like literally like, oh my goodness, this kids on the earth is gonna blow this planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And they have no idea how powerful they are, or they already know how powerful they are. But this earth's the position, when you create something, it's already part of a one, you know, like part of something, even though we cannot comprehend it. But if something happened to Earth, the balance of the universe will also out of the order. So they're like, okay, now we need on board now. This little child is gonna flip the whole family, you know. So that's I was feeling like, you know, so but a lot of people don't know, like when the human, right, like our world, you know, now everything is so fast with AI coming in, with technology and a lot of things, that we actually have so much power in our hand. And people do not know this actually in a very creative way or in a very destructive way, right? It's because they
Mm.
are creating some, you are birthing certain things. It doesn't mean good or bad, because there's no good or bad. It's more of intention of you doing that.
Mm.
So, well, let's touch on those the creative, you know, those intentions. Touch on this. Like I don't like to tap into the politics, because I, first of all, I don't understand politics. I never really can figure out what's going on. But you know, why all of a sudden, like you know, at first you mentioned when going through, because when light coming through, it will show you all the dark side. You know, you will have to see that. But like this intensity, is there any a timeline that we, things we don't have a 3 years plan, but what is the close timeline that we are on it right now? Like where
Mm.
it leading our, you know, humankind to? I think that people are kind of curious, because a lot of anxiety and fear coming from is because when you don't know, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's there's two pieces to that question.
Yeah.
Firstly, there is no timing on this because it's up
Mm.
to us. It's
Yeah.
really up to us. How
Mm.
much light we hold, how much light we radiate. The more people who can kind of pull out of the anxiety and the chaos and radiate their light, the faster we move. The absolute faster. The reason it is so loud is it's falling away. And that is why those of the older world are screaming so loud. That's why they're causing so much flare ups, why they're causing so much um, chaos, really,
Mm-hmm.
is to grab our attention. Because if they can grab our attention, then our light dips and it's easy for them to keep going on the pathway that they were on. When we shine, their world is getting smaller and smaller because we're withdrawing our energy for us, and we are the power sources. We are the people who carry so much light that if we're not directing it somewhere, that's going to just naturally fall away.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason there is so much chaos is to keep our attention on it, to keep our attention focused on it, because then a certain amount of our light is going there. Even if we're not agreeing, our attention
Mm-hmm.
always adds energy to whatever we're giving the attention.
Yes.
That's the basic rule of one of the basic spiritual laws. So we need to pull our attention towards what we want to build. That is the most critical piece of what we're doing now, is to pull our attention towards what we want to build. It's not to discard people or anything like that. I'm not saying that. If someone needs help, giving them the help, then we're building that field of collaboration, of kindness into it. But if we're just absorbing the news or social media and just absorbing it without any real work being done on it, then we're just contributing to it. To be honest, we need to
Mm-hmm.
be directing our light. We need to be directing our light no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll scan the headlines to see what's happening in the world, but I use it almost like a prayer list. I'll send the dragons to this one and the angels to that one, and I'll just be sending more light
Mm-hmm.
into all these places, all where all the governments that are struggling, and there is there's a balancing as well of the masculine and the feminine and the planet.
Yeah.
And we can see that playing out at the highest level. And again, people are fighting for their energetic survival is what they're fighting for. They're fighting to hold things the same. These people are safe if they could move into the stream of new earth. But they're fighting for an old energy, and it's getting harder and harder to hold us, which is why everything is getting louder and louder.
Yeah, so the next question that actually pop in my mind is what I see is those ones that are actually on the front line, right? You know, uh, can you touch that on a little bit? Because I think a lot of things very hard for other people is when people close to them, let's say if certain things happen in my country, my people, right? And if you things happen in your country, your people, you will feel more because that's a bloodline. That's this community. That's something something very close to you because people are humans are usually tend to be more of a sensitive when things get very close to them. Otherwise, they're like,
Mm,
whoa, that's far away. Nothing. That nothing to do with me,
mm,
right? But when things happen to them, especially I can see even on Facebook, friends, last 2 years has so many souls moved on, right?
mm.
And I saw, well, some of them moved on in a natural way of, leaving the earth, but some of them actually now they are actually I don't want to say finish their contract right now, but I just want from your perspective, just shine some light on those, um, kind of because people have to be part of the event to make the event. Like that's the
Yes.
people, animal, plants, like we are the main player
Mm,
in this world. So if anything happened, if without people, we probably would not even be in our awareness, right? But some people have to volunteer to do those things. You know what I'm saying? I'm volunteer
yeah.
to do my parts. People are volunteer to do their parts. But, on your end, like, how, what are some things that you would like to share to kind of guide people through this
Mm.
process?
Yes, and it's challenging. No matter how much work we do, it's challenging when big things happen in the world.
Yeah.
Um, but firstly, let me just speak from a country perspective, because
Yeah.
Ireland has a long and varied history, and there's been a lot of times we've been under oppression, time and time again, by all sorts of different countries. But there's a collective healing that needs to happen for all these countries, because we carry within us, we carry the trauma. For example, the famine is very prevalent in our ancestral line,
Mm-hmm.
the big famine in Ireland when we lost so many people. But at the same time, there's the trauma of that, and there is the result of it. The
Yeah.
result of it was there was millions of Irish immigrated across the world. We're in nearly every country you could possibly live in. There is Irish people, but the Irish lineage carries the heart energy. It carries a sacred heart energy.
Mm.
So that time actually took that heart energy out across the world. And now Ireland is rising light-wise. It's, the light in Ireland, and that heart energy is opening back up now that, we have enough people here holding it again. But
Yeah.
because it's here, it's also being activated everywhere that there's Irish descendants across the world. So
Mm-hmm.
we have this collective piece we play. Certain countries carry certain energies, and
Yeah.
some of our events are, how does that need to unfold decades and generations down the line?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think as well, there's the collective piece of our own healing. When we carry that inherited energies, we need to do our ancestral healing. We need to do the collective healing for our lineage, for the generations that come before us. That's how we can contribute to the healing
Mm-hmm.
overall, is to, if we do our personal healing, if we have, say, between 5 and 6 million people living here at the moment, if even 10 of those do their ancestral healing, it spreads out into all the other millions. And if
Yes.
if 100,000 of it do it, you've probably cleared it completely. So it's it's to do our bit, but at the same time not to take on more. When I started this work, I was inclined to want to do all the ancestral healing for Ireland and do it all, and I exhausted myself, and I'd end up with
Mm.
flus, and I'd end up, just too tired to do other stuff, and that's not the way I wanted to live. So now I'm very careful that I do what's mine to do, and I
Yeah.
allow the other souls in my soul group, even if I've never met them on this plane, to do their own. So there's multiple pieces of it, but I would say do your own healing, but try not to take on the healing of a whole country, because you can, it's not, it's too
Yeah.
much for one physical vessel.
Exactly. Yeah, when you describing, I see those little fire, like when talking hearts, right? Hearts to
Yeah.
me is either pink or green. So I saw those lights just go out.
Yeah.
My cat is playing the things there. Oh my goodness, I was one knocked down, and it's actually the bag is green, by the way. So I see those little green, fire goes different country. Actually, so beautiful because it has
Yeah.
to get to other country. And also now when you talk about actually makes so much sense because you see like North America, right? Like this is a very like unique continent because from history or whatever things like, but
Yeah.
we here we carry a different, very different energy, like
Yeah.
almost always in the heat, like
Yeah.
I don't know which part of what it be that, like I don't know whether it's roots or solar plex, probably solar plex, kind of like confidence, like willpower, controlling, things like to get things done. Like that's why it's so fast of pace. Maybe we have solar
Yeah.
plexus here
Yeah.
in North America. I don't know because I remember that where I saw it is just like snake, right? Serpent energy, right? I think that yeah, I do remember iron is the I think it's a heart, and then there wears a crown. I don't remember like, but I see in my eyes
Yeah.
I saw that snake their power, but that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. Um,
Yeah. And we carry a combined energy. There's green, white, and gold. It's interesting that our flag is green, white, and gold, but that's actually when I work with the land here, they're the colors I see energetically in my mind's eye. Um,
okay.
but America has a very unique perspective as well in that they have so many different countries and there's so many different lineages playing into it that as Ireland heals, then that affects America because there's so many Irish in so
Yes.
many big cities over
Yeah.
there. But it's the same for every single country healing because America has such such a mix of cultures that there's something unique. I don't quite know what it is because I obviously don't work on the ground with that country, but I
Yeah.
think there's something very special happening there, even if it looks a bit crazy now, because you have so many different lineages combining. There must be something trying to birth in the combination, in the unifying of all the different.
Unity through diversity. This is why
Yes,
my podcast name
exactly.
is Unity through Diversity. That's the name came
Yes,
to me. I was like, yeah, even the work we are doing in the community, in this country, like almost like, we people are fighting this part and that part, but at the end of the day, how can we be harmonized? You know, we always say you can agree to disagree, right? You
yeah,
can even those things you say, it's not my belief, but can we still get along? Can we still go have dinner after this conversation? And
yeah,
I think it's really challenging in this country, like you said, that we have so many different cultures, so many different lineages, all on this land. It's just a lot
yeah,
of freedom but everybody's freedom definition of freedom is so different.
yeah,
Everybody's right or wrong is so different. Everybody is what is feel awakening, what is feels right is so different. And I think
yeah,
this made this country so unique, right? And
yeah,
when you talk about different country have different energy, because I have a map, like world map, literally just right in front of here, and I almost see like different country have different lights, right? Different color.
yeah,
Now now looking at the world right now, like you see so many color, like because if you take back 200 years ago, there are more. This is green, this is red, and now they are all mashed together, right?
yeah, yeah. And
So
I think the United States has some unique role. I don't know what it is yet. I just feel there's a very unique role in unifying
yeah,
the various ones because even though, I mean, there's many people from all sorts of countries obviously live in Ireland now, but we
yeah,
don't have that kind of multicultural history.
yeah,
It's not in our history. It's in the last few decades maybe, but it's not further back in our history. So there's something in America about how they are going to combine the energies. And when you find peace in the combination of them, and that spreads back to all the other lineages, there's
yeah,
something happening there. I can kind of feel the edges of the energy of it, which means it's just starting to build whatever this energy is. Because
yeah.
the way I feel energy sometimes is I feel it out kind of on the edges, and when it's
Mhm.
coalesced, it comes in here and I can read it. But I can kind of feel them on the edges. That something in the unifying of all the
Yeah,
various cultures in America is going to birth something very special in the world.
very special.
Yeah.
I totally agree because I just
Yeah.
realized that my nonprofit called United We Go.
Oh, wow.
My
Yeah.
podcast called Unity Through Diversity. I'm living in the United
Yeah.
States. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's no coincidence. I feel like
No.
that's maybe
Mm.
I'm aligned on something that bigger. Now we're talking because I literally feel
Yeah.
like I saw the energy swirling, but it's almost a mixture of different color. Like whatever things
Mm.
create out there, I don't know because we are still in the process of try to mixing, but
Mm.
during the mixing, certain color and a certain they just don't mix very well. Like
Mm.
or you have no idea what's coming out, type of
Yeah.
situation. So almost like I see a like storm, like a mixing this thing, but not like a stormish, but that's the only way that I can, it's the mixing like swirling. So we
Mm.
don't know what we are forming is a tornado or
No.
we are forming a beautiful rainbow. I have no idea. Um,
I think it's going to be a beautiful rainbow, but to me it looks like different colors are fighting for dominance is where
yeah.
the and you can create a rainbow if one color gets
No.
superiority over a different one. So
Yeah.
it's when they all start to blend into that rainbow, then the magic,
Exactly.
we'll see the magic of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I'm so glad of where we from where we started to where we are here. So well, let's talk about what are some parting message, not parting message. Some are suggesting advice for the people, because our audience all over the world, right? So is
Mm,
there any specific message for because I'm staring at the map right now. I'm like it's so special.
mm,
Like like you say, you choose to live here. I choose cross the whole continent to
mm,
come to United States and living in Michigan in this city called a Bay City. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? I literally talking to a friend, and you just later I was like, you chose it. You don't
mm.
know why you chose it, but just believe if you are here, you're not supposed to be somewhere
Yeah.
else. And I have no idea why I chose here. I started to understand a little bit more, but I still because you are not supposed to know everything. If you know everything, it's so boring. Like you like
Yeah.
what's next, right? So
Yeah.
like now I'm looking at the map for the people and all over the world. Like what are some things that we can
Mm,
share to help them to anchor their ground themselves because
mm,
you are supposed to be
mm.
there, right? Even
Yeah.
some of them in the war zone right now,
Mm,
sadly because human beings have emotions, but so what are some messages we can
yeah.
share that help people be grounding and be content and
Mm,
trust that this we are in the
mm.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no matter where you are on this planet, there is legions of angels and dragons and unicorns and star
Mm.
beings surrounding you. Your own family of light, your own ancestors are cheering you on. I heard someone mention we are the answer to our grandmother's prayers. We are the
Yes.
answer. The ancestors were praying for help for Earth. They were praying for someone to come to help the Earth evolve again, to help humanity find its way. And we're it. We are the ones that were sent in to bring the light back to Earth. So no matter where you are in the planet, no matter what circumstances you live in, you are surrounded by more light and more support than you could ever imagine. And you can ask for it 1,000 times a day if you wish, and it's never going to bother all those light beings. You can ask and ask and ask and ask, and you can connect, you can listen, and just receive. We are, I think we're moving into a time where we need to receive again. It
Yeah.
was considered selfish, and there's a lot of projection onto receiving. There's a lot of projection that you may be selfish or, well, you've enough now, all those things. Just you can receive as much angelic light as you want. There are no limits to how much help you can receive.
Hmm.
So no matter where you are, just call in that help and something will shift, something will change, or some bit of guidance will come your way to help you find the next step. But like you said,
Yeah.
we can't see that far ahead now. There was a time where I could read the energies of 12 months and kind of give an idea of where we were going to be in the end of the year. I don't know where we're going to be the
Yes.
end of
No.
next week. Once we're heading into the solstice in the northern hemisphere, and it's a massive, massive channel of light again this time. There is so much golden light coming in for the solstice at the end of next week that's going to cause another shift and another ripple out.
Yeah, so every day I wake up, I was like, the energy is a little bit different. Like I don't even know where which like if you talk about energy level, I have no idea where we at. Like every day I go out there, things change a little bit. I don't know what exactly, but you just know it, you just feel it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is new. Like I haven't feel like ever experienced this energy yet, and that's why you don't know, right? And every day, just and my birthday is I born on summer solstice, so like it make
Oh,
it even more
lovely.
special. And my birthday is coming, and when your birthday coming, everything shifts again. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to be shifted. Like shift me. I'm not even trying to figure out where I'm going. Like I will figure out by July or July usually settle down a little bit. I'm like, okay, where am I alive right now? Where I'm at? I don't know. I'm on the way right now. I'm on the trip, like in a journey. Don't know which portal they're gonna bring me through. But I also collectively, we are also summer solstice is a
Yeah.
portal, right?
It's
Okay.
the portal and it's moving into the seven. There's something very special happening in 7-7. I know energetically something very special is happening.
Yeah.
I haven't got information on what it is, but there is a huge portal on 7-7 this year. So we had the
Okay.
solstice and then 7-7. I think actually Uranus is moving that day as well. It's another one of the big planetary moves this week. But I really feel my eyes keep moving towards 7-7. So
Okay, well,
watch
I will
that date.
definitely. I'm not in 7-7 either. I'm more of like, June, because the summer solstice is always like my birthday is a big thing. So like I feel like
Yeah.
I will tell my friends, I feel like my brain is being cooked. I didn't even know. Like, the brain is cooked. The feeling is like it's not like I wake up, did so many things, your brain feel overwhelmed. Like no, like you woke up, you feel your brain just cooked. And
Yeah.
cooked by what? I don't know. Like something is cooking. Like something is cooking that our brain, our awareness just cannot make sense of it. So it's our
Yeah.
subconscious. Like I had a dream last night too. Like it was wild dream because I love to study my dream. It's like it's very interesting to witness your dream from different theme to that theme. And I know something's going on, but I'm like, whoa, this is too much for me to even comprehend it all at once with busy, human daily task of schedule, things like that. But okay, I for the work that you do, how can people work with you? Do you do one-on-one session, group session? Are you teaching? Like share us a little
Um,
bit about
I
that.
have I have a membership program called
Cool.
Celestial Club.
Hmm.
So that one, um, the biggest part of that is there is a sanctuary of light within it. So an energetic sanctuary that you can step into anytime. It's
Hmm. Hmm.
24/7. But there's also meditations and a live event every month, a live community call. So the Celestial Club is one of the main ways of working with me.
Okay.
I also do an event once a month so people can sign up to that as well. And then there's a shop to buy meditation, stuff like that. And I've loads of free stuff on YouTube, also on my webpage, which is
Hmm.
joanbuckley.com. So you can just come in and try it out. There's lots and lots of meditations there, just when you need a
Yes.
little bit of a hand on any day. But
Yeah.
Celestial Club is my main way of connecting. I do one-on-ones as well, but
Hmm.
mostly I work in Celestial Club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely feel called to work with mass as well because I've been
Mm,
working one-on-one last 5 years. But you need those individual
mm.
practice to be able to hold the collective energy
Yes, yes.
because there's no way, hey, let me think about it. No, you are there, you're ready, you're
Yeah.
gonna just have information come through, right? So I
Mm,
do see that process of like from individual when you have over thousands of people is probably sometimes, oh, I never had this before, but it's not gonna be every case
mm.
gonna be, oh, I never had that before. Versus like, wow, this is
Yes.
very interesting. I love it. Like, show me more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I will make sure to put your website and link there. And okay, now I have 3 questions I ask all my guests. Okay, so those are fun questions. Like we done the. I love this reading. Actually, it was I didn't know where we're gonna go, but I think
Yeah.
it's you wrap up in a very different, very beautiful way, and then give people a bigger perspective, and also,
Mm.
zoom out and zoom in. So the first question is, if you use 3 words to describe yourself, what's those 3 words would be?
Connected,
Yeah.
angelic,
Yes.
and Irish.
I think that's in your blood of like a
It's it's
as
in it's down in my bones. There's something
yes.
I'm part of the land here. I always feel like I'm almost an extension of the land here. So I don't travel much as a result.
Yeah, you probably have the yeah, definitely. That's the land of the ancestors embodying it. The second
Yeah.
question is, uh if you could go back to meet your 5 years older version of you, what would you say to her?
I would remind her that she is surrounded by support, that even if she can't see it, and that there is so many angels and light beings around her.
Yeah. And as the last question is, what is your definition of living a fulfilled life?
Peace, internal peace, just that
Yeah.
deep peace that comes with knowing ourselves and connecting to all that is and the oneness of it all. Just that deep, deep peace.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Joan. This is such
Oh,
a lovely time, speaking with you and this reading. And, I love your beautiful energy, definitely angelic connectedness, Irish. Yeah, I definitely take that. You definitely living the, how to say that? So the energy is very in
Mhm.
tone. That was probably the good word. So thank you so
Mm.
much, and thank our audience who hope you guys love this the reading and it's a story about Joan, and feel free to check her website, and thank you so much. Okay, we will see you guys
Oh,
next
thank you.
week. Thank you.